how greed ruined the internet. Now, all I'm gonna say about this, bro, is like, I feel like back then, people on the internet were a lot more authentic. You know what I'm saying? But since, you know, the rise of like hyper capitalism got involved with like the internet and shit, I feel like that's when it really changed. But you know what I'm saying? Also, the top 1% getting their hands on these social media sites and stuff to gain, you know, wealth and stuff. I think it's just a many of things, bro. But you know what I'm saying? Let's see what's going on, man, with this video, man.
Used to be a lot more fun. As one Reddit user said, it was a lot more exciting, decentralized, and felt like the Wild West. Going online felt like you were actually exploring something, going out into uncharted territory. But I think we can all agree that's a far cry from what the internet is now. Whether it be every single company begging me to use their AI companions, my browser crashing from the amount of ads I have, or the myriad of rage bait content online, there are quite a few issues with the internet today. But the internet didn't suddenly get bad.
I feel like it's designed to keep people distracted too.
It got
like,
optimized. And all of the things I mentioned are being used to harvest your attention. Ironically,
man,
I think
turn that shit
Bo
up,
put it very well.
They're coming for every second of your life. We colonized the entire earth. There was no other place for the businesses and capitalism to expand into, and then they realized human attention. That we can they are now trying to colonize
that boy cooking, bro.
Every minute of your life. That is what these people are trying to do. Every single free moment you have is a moment you could be looking at your phone and they could be gathering information to target ads at you.
So today I wanted to discuss the 3 main ways in which the internet has been overly optimized to harvest your attention, why it's bad, and how to avoid it if you can. The first way they do this is with ads.
Of course.
Ads have been an important tool used in marketing forever. But since the rise of the internet, they've changed a lot. Before the internet, obviously ads were in things like newspapers or magazines or billboards, and eventually in 1941 they made it to the TV, and the first ad was only 9 seconds long. Can you imagine that?
What the fuck?
America runs on Bolivar time.
Yo, that's crazy, bruh. Yo, this shit was dog shit back in the day, bro. They really need to update game, bruh.
In 1994 though came the
kidding.
first online banner ad. It cost $30,000 to run for 3 months, and it got a click-through rate of 44%. For context, online ads nowadays get like 0.05% click-through rate, so 44% means...
Oh yeah, bro. And sometimes, I don't know if y'all have seen some of the ads, but they look like, you ever go to those, like, those websites where you gotta download something, and it has like the download shit right below it, so it looks like it's a part of the website to like get you to click on it, bro. That shit is crazy, bro.
44% of the people that saw that banner ad clicked it. Because this ad performed so well, it very quickly revolutionized ads on the internet. Since the internet provided a platform where content could be shown to targeted audiences, in 1995 agencies started using demographic research to analyze which websites were best suited for which ads. So if you enjoyed an ad-free internet experience in 1995, it was the beginning of the end. After Google was created in 1998, the reach of online ads intensified. Click-through rates became much lower because people were getting used to seeing all these ads, so they had to focus on getting the viewers' attention as much as they could. In 2004, Facebook came onto the scene, and at first they started using
these fucking Mark Zuckerberg
ads only to offset the cost of their servers, but due to the massive success of Facebook, the use of ads inevitably led to huge profits and, as a result, even more advertisements. A couple of years later, in 2006, YouTube was purchased by Google, and the framework for free video content...
This was like the first YouTube video. I think it was the Me at the Zoo or some shit like that. This is crazy, bro.
In exchange for watching ads was created.
Yeah, Me at the Zoo.
At the time, it was bearable, and it was honestly a good trade-off. In the same year, Twitter was born, but at its conception, it didn't have any ads, at least yet. In the following years, the internet and ads continued to evolve at an insane rate, which provided people the opportunity to make a ton of money, of course at the cost of your attention. While regulation was put in place to protect the consumer, they only became roadblocks for advertisers to work around and exploit. And this gives us a few important examples of how ads have really crippled the internet from what they used to be. First is Netflix, a service that originally got its success from sending out movies in the mail. Now it's one of the big...
Bro, the only way you could really watch an ad is that they like force it down your throat, like literally.
Pioneers, and its first subscription started at just $7.99 a month. There was no ads, no premium tiers, none of that. Just one fixed price so you can watch whatever you wanted to.
Redbox, y'all remember Redbox, bro?
Early on, Netflix was actually inspired to lean into streaming because of YouTube's success. While YouTube was free to watch with ads, Netflix went the opposite route, opting for the affordable monthly cost but avoiding ads entirely. In both cases, users were left happy, since while there was a cost, it was pretty small and
Netflix was so goated back in the days, bro. But nowadays, bro, they be taking down series and then posting it years later and taking them off and throwing in extra $12 charge just to watch some mid-ass shit, bro.
it was up to you to choose. However, as you guys probably know, nothing good lasts forever. Kind of like how a drug dealer hooks their customers with free samples just to later squeeze them for every penny they're worth. Internet platforms sort of operate in a similar way, but much less obvious. By using a slow rollout of ads like YouTube does or providing a monetary workaround like Netflix, users became conditioned to a binary choice when it came to ads. As ads became overly frequent or the paywall grew too high, the same companies which created this initial issue started selling the solution.
Bro, this shit used to be $8. I think it's like 18 now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and be honest, bro, to even watch YouTube nowadays, you literally have to have like YouTube Premium, bro. But it's crazy, bro. Like, it used to be $8. I remember this was like back in like 2015. You know what I'm saying? I think it was back when it first like
YouTube
was
and
doing that
Netflix
shit.
premium tier subscriptions hit the market, and that brings us to a word called enshittification, a term which describes the process of how things tend to be great for the user at first, but over time a company optimizes profit, decaying what made them great.
So in stage 1 of enshittification, a platform is good to its end users,
Enshittification.
but it locks them in. So come to Facebook and we'll never spy on you and we'll just show you the things you asked to see. And so we pile in and we lock ourselves in because you love your friends, but they're a pain in the ass and you can't agree on what like board game you're gonna play this weekend. So you definitely can't agree on when it's time to leave Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg knows this and he understands that so long as you love your friends more than you hate him, he can make life worse for you and you'll stay there. So that's stage 2, making things good for business customers by making them bad for end users. Now stage 3, they make things worse for the business customers too. Ad targeting fidelity goes way down, ad prices go way up, ad fraud explodes. Mark Zuckerberg, the true future is that I will convert you and everyone you love into a legless, sexless, low polygon, heavily surveilled cartoon character so that I can imprison you in this virtual world I stole from a 25-year-old satirical...
It's really all these billionaires that do that shit. It's not just Mark Zuckerberg. Elon Musk does it. They all do it. Jeff Bezos. You know what I'm saying?
dystopian cyberpunk novel that I call the metaverse. And that is the final stage of enshittification, the giant pile of shit.
And I think this streaming service,
Which it is a giant pile of shit. Nobody goes on the fucking metaverse, nigga. Who the fuck wakes up in the morning and they're like, oh my gosh, the metaverse? Never, bro.
economy of today really encapsulates this term. I covered this in a previous video, but just for a few
And then these companies wonder why people are like resorting to piracy, bro. Like you know what I mean?
examples, Netflix started at $7.99 and now has subscriptions worth $24.99. They have a
That's
subscription
crazy,
with
bro.
ads, a standard without, and a premium that gives you, little perks.
Basic with ads is insane, bro. 720. That's crazy, bro. You basically have to get the standard, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not worth it, bro.
And every other streaming service you can think of has raised their prices
Just share that fucking account, nigga.
and has
Give me
these
that
tiers
password.
with ads, without, that type of deal. Streaming was first branded as the perfect escape from overpriced and ad-infested cable. But ironically, as the cycle completed, we now have bundles of this and tiers of that which include or exclude certain content or features, pretty much bringing us full circle back to cable because you're paying for all these individual services, which add up to quite the big fee. Another perfect example of this enshittification term is Red Zone. For years, football
Red
fans
Zone.
were able to watch Red Zone, a program that jumps between the big moments of simultaneous games so fans don't miss a thing. It was always
Okay.
protected under the shield of one iconic promise that Scott Hansen made in the intro every time: 7 hours of commercial-free football. That was quite literally the cornerstone that made
I remember this. I don't really watch sports, but I remember this shit. It was on like,
Red
Damn,
Zone
bro.
so successful. And in the last
yeah, it was like
year or
2019,
so,
bro.
it all fell apart.
And the witching hour, when wins become losses and losses become wins, all wrapped up in 7 hours of red zone football. And I'll see you there for it. Oh, wait, what happened?
It's not free anymore. You see that shit?
Commercial free. That's a whole long story, my friend.
Like other
Damn,
once
bro.
great platforms, enshittification inevitably took over, and even Red Zone, which was a last hope for many sports fans, lost its ad-free nature. This massive movement has been pushed by the 4 horsemen of the internet: Google, Meta, TikTok, and YouTube.
I wonder who owns those platforms, by the way. type shit, especially TikTok and Metaverse.
These companies all embody enshittification perfectly, each having
people
their
are
own
so-
slow decay into an ad-infested dystopian nightmare. And I
And they fucking suck. They fucking suck. All that shit is terrible. Who the fuck cares about the metaverse? Mark Zuckerberg, you're not worth shit, nigga. Fuck you.
think TikTok is one of the most perfect examples for this video. When it first merged with Musical.ly in
Owned by a pedophile, by the way.
2018, TikTok was
And the Epstein file is literally owned by by the Epstein file pedophile, bro.
when first released in 2020, Instagram
crazy,
Reels was
bro.
ad-free. Looking back, this is probably surprising to hear, because now when I'm scrolling TikTok, and this is a personal rant of mine, you have all these ads every couple videos. You have all these sponsored posts too that you got to look out for.
Oh, yeah.
If you accidentally swipe left, you're led to this TikTok shop that's full of just tons of garbage, and it slows your phone down. It's miserable. The TikTok shop, especially, fully merging commerce.
The Temu TikTok shop. Have y'all ever bought anything from the TikTok shop, bro? I heard they be like scamming motherfuckers on
Social
that shit,
media
bro.
is probably one of the biggest offenders of this. It's a wildly dangerous move considering how addictive short-form content is on its own without even combining it with retail capabilities. In Instagram's case, by 2025, more than half of all the ads on the platform appeared in the Reels section. And you might be wondering why they did this, and that's because in the US, Reels
It's because they're squeezing all the money and wealth from us.
accounted for almost half of the total time spent on the app. And figures like these are similar across the board, proving how addictive short-form content can be for even other platforms like YouTube Shorts. I'm sure you guys understand short-form content and their algorithms, but if you don't, they're heavily optimized to keep you watching as long as possible. With TikTok reporting an average 81 minutes per day. This maximizes their time and
That's bad. 81 minutes a day on average is bad, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I don't have I used to have TikTok. I don't use TikTok anymore, but bro, that's I'll be honest. I was addicted to TikTok. I was scrolling that bitch for hours, bro.
opportunities for them to
I'm not gonna lie. I still have that addiction with like YouTube Shorts. I be getting caught up with YouTube Shorts, and sometimes I'll catch myself like in a fucking doom scroll, and I'll be like, wait, what the fuck am I doing? I need to get me off this shit, bro. You know what I mean? It's
show
like
you advertisements. Ironically, even though engagement and watch time is higher, conversions for Reels ads are significantly lower than typical feed ads, which means more often than not, ads have zero purpose in reality other than wasting your time and annoying you as you're scrolling. So to keep your attention, advertisers have had to up their game, which has led many users to noticing oddly specifically targeted ads. Since the early days of mobile phones, it's been
everybody knows
common
this
conspiracy theory that your phone is listening to your conversations, especially when you're talking to your friend, and the next thing you know, you're seeing an ad.
Suck my dick, nigga. Suck my dick. Suck my dick. Eat my ass. I know you're listening, bitch. What, a fucking Palantir or some shit on my phone? Hold on. What the fuck? Oh, it's the IR light. I forgot about that shit. My bad.
Ad for the product you were discussing.
I thought Peter Thiel was listening to me.
Most of these stories are anecdotal and disproven by cookies, but regardless, it's an experience that many of us have probably thought of at one point or another. But
I think it's kind of true though. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of there's like a half truth to it. You know what I mean? Like they're definitely looking at what you search up and they're putting ads back onto you, bro. 100%.
For a long time, there was really no solid evidence for this. Until in 2024, a big news story dropped from 404 Media accusing the massive media conglomerate Cox Media Group of doing just that. They alleged
a bunch of cocks.
that CMG had developed a system called active listening that could apparently capture real-time intent data using a smartphone's microphone. Then this smart data could be paired with AI processes to serve up highly targeted advertisements. Pretty quickly, every major tech company distanced themselves from CMG, but to be fair, 404 Media's article had a lot of holes poked in it and didn't serve as outright proof. Other sources mention how it's more likely that phones are using screen data rather than voice data.
I think it's screen data.
Which, if I'm being completely honest, how many times have you asked Siri to do something for you and she can't understand you? So I feel like that's a little bit less likely. Regardless, the whole phenomenon is still creepy.
Can advertisers in any way use non-public data, so data that individuals would not think is necessarily public, so that they can target their ads?
Congressman, the way this works is, let's say you have a business that is selling skis, okay, and you have...
What happened to this kind of shit when billionaires were getting put on the fucking, like, where did this go, bro?
On your
like, what happened to this?
That you are interested in skiing, but let's say you haven't made that public, but you share it with your friends, right? So broadly, we don't tell the advertiser that here's a list of people who like skis. They just say, okay, we're trying to sell skis. Can you reach people who like skis, and then we match that up on our side without sharing any of that information? with the
Understood.
advertiser?
They don't.
That boy capping shit, bro. That boy lying like shit, bro. He's selling that shit to Peter Thiel right
You
now.
don't share that.
However, using the internet with ads is almost unbearable, and that's why most people use ad block. That sounded like, like an advertisement right there, but it's not, which is apparently used by over 50% of the internet. But ad block has also had its problems. Platforms like YouTube have started to roll out a bunch of dismissible pop-up banners asking you to uninstall your ad block. As I'm sure a lot of you have encountered, YouTube and their methods
I just use YouTube Premium, bro.
to get people to stop using ad block have become more and more aggressive, with sometimes videos just not working if you have it enabled. And of course, there's online articles that have all these pop-ups and all these paywalls, and they're actively fighting against paywall removers. This is a battle I fight every single day. This whole process of introducing and forcing ads on
Bro. Doctor, part 1. Is this a 12-hour fucking ad? Hold on, can I zoom into that? No, I can't.
onto the masses has been a calculated and heavily studied
What
rollout.
the
At first,
fuck?
users feel a little discomfort, but they never abandon the platform they've grown used to. As time goes on, they will slowly push this line slower and slower, building up your tolerance and conditioning you to get used to the ads.
Yeah,
If they
bro.
push
They're desensitizing to us to this shit, bro.
too hard and too fast, users will abandon the platform, which is why companies like YouTube, with AdBlock at first subtly made using AdBlock a taboo before fully removing its use from the platform. And
Oh,
then
really?
they sell you an option to get YouTube Premium, and then
I always had YouTube Premium, though. I'm not gonna fucking lie, bro.
you don't have to worry about it, which I'm not gonna lie, I fell for. I figured as a YouTuber I should probably have it anyway, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do reaction videos, so it's like I kind of have to. You know what I'm
And
saying?
it would support me more if you guys had YouTube Premium. So I mean,
Well, you're welcome, my nigga. $18 a month goes straight to your
it's
account.
an option. It seems like the ad-infested internet
I'm chill, bro. Chill.
we're dealing with today is never going to get better, and it's likely that they will probably get a bit worse before it even has the chance to get better, because now that ads are everywhere, the next thing that's been ruining the internet is
AI.
automating the content itself. AI,
Bro, these fucking companies, they're gonna keep, bro, I'm telling you, it's gonna keep getting worse and worse and worse, and it's gonna get to a point where it's gonna be like extreme. You're gonna be locked into ads. Like you can't avoid it. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're paying an arm and a leg, $100 a fucking month for no ads, bro. They're literally taking more and more and more and more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, eventually you just gotta rise up. You know what I'm saying?
like
Type
most
shit.
people are familiar with today, isn't how it's always been. Before the term became one of the most talked about things online, it's always been there, dating all the way back to the 60s. For example,
Oh, yeah.
Siri, Alexa, and even less mainstream online games like Akinator all used forms of AI. But
Akinator uses your mic.
at those times, it was nowhere near as complex as it is now. As years went by, seemingly out of nowhere, ChatGPT blew up online and became a ton of people's first true experience with AI. Across the globe, countless students used it to cheat on homework, exams, or even to do simple things like write emails. Countermeasures were added in school, but with how fast the tech was evolving, it's pretty impossible to keep up with. A survey found from 2023 that 56% of college students have used AI on assignments or exams. However,
Damn,
as I'm
bruh.
sure you know, generative AI didn't just end with helping people cheat on their homework. Around the same time, free and paid AI software for photos
What the fuck?
and videos began to spread
One gorilla versus 100 men.
online, with pretty much unlimited access. The years 2023 through 2025 represent one of the most rapid periods of advancement in the history of generative AI. During this time, generative AI evolved from an emerging technology into a transformative tool used widely across industries. While AI
Okay.
started to become unavoidable in places like search engines with Google's AI Overview powered by Gemini, editing tools like Adobe's Firefly, or even customer service on every single website, I just want to talk to a person. I don't want to talk to your stupid AI bot that can't answer my question.
Oh my
A lot of
God,
people most
dude.
commonly ran into AI on social media, like with Twitter's Grok or
Grok loves children. Just letting y'all know
through
that.
AI
I wonder who invested into that, huh? That fucking fathead prick.
made art. You couldn't see me, but I was using quotations there. Grok is similar to ChatGPT, except it's integrated specifically for the platform, as is Snapchat's AI
Twitter.
and more. Speaking of Snapchat's AI, I don't know why it's at the top of my feed. I don't really use Snapchat, but when they added that, it just pissed me off. AI art is another thing that's pretty unavoidable unless you've made consistent efforts to weed out the slop content from your algorithm. The so-called AI slop has been a huge topic of conversation as of late. Some of the earliest trends which seem to take
Bro, What the fuck
off
is
following its
this?
widespread use included the overwhelming
Bro, I'll see random YouTube shorts of just AI on my shit. And it'll just be like random AI slop. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this,
amount
bro?
of just brain rot content. Whether it was the which toilet would you choose or Italian brain rot, the escalation of its presence was undeniable. But it wasn't just obvious AI generated images that were getting traction. With the release of Sora, tons of somewhat realistic videos started dropping, which posed a major threat to older folks or people who can't tell the difference.
Oh, look at me, subway surfing like a pro. Woo! Piece of cake.
Yo, what the fuck?
Nothing to it. I'm the king of the F line, baby. Yeah.
Obviously,
What
using
the
common
fuck?
sense, you can kind of tell the difference, but when used
Yeah.
in much more subtle ways, like changing speech down to even a word or two, all of a sudden, AI can be weaponized as a tool for propaganda. Like I saw this video, I'll play it on the screen right now, of a guy on a flying carpet shooting down a US F-15 in Iran. That was pretty
Yo, y'all niggas, bro. Who made this?
funny. I hope some people believe that. At this point, boatloads of engagement optimized slop content is pouring in as a vehicle for ads, and they've pretty much optimized the system to another level. I even saw an article from Futurism back in October of 2025 that said 50% of the internet is now AI slop. I guess they got that from a study. Not sure exactly how accurate.
I don't think that's 100% accurate, bro.
it
I think
is,
that's
but I
kind of
believe it.
bullshit.
So not only is AI just, an
I think it's like 30-40% type shit.
inconvenience when you're using Google, or it's trying to help me write an email. I know how to write an email. I don't need help. Or all these other minor annoyances when companies try to integrate it into every part of their application. I think the biggest problem here is the AI content that's being created, because now there is automated, cheap, limitless, and ad-packed content on every single platform. And the
Bro, what the
only
fuck
thing
is
that they
on my
need now
screen?
is engagement. When it comes down to it, another central issue I think that's killing the internet today are the complex algorithms that reward emotion over truth or actual quality. This
Yeah.
brings us to the trend of baiting
Yeah.
that plagues social media. Whether it's rage baiting, engagement baiting, vague baiting, or clip farming, all these different forms of low quality posts dominate because of their connection
Okay, I don't know about like when Canel does his videos, like I don't really care. Like he's just making content, having fun, right? Right? He's doing prank videos and shit. You know what I mean? I don't watch all of his videos, but like some of his videos are cool. I'm not gonna lie. But like when it's like Clavicular or Nick Fuentes, that's when it's just like, bro, what the fuck am I looking at, bro?
into emotion.
You know what I mean?
And
Like
some people even clickbait. I don't know who does that. I don't know if you
everybody clickbait.
YouTuber. I've heard YouTubers do it. I don't know. And the myriad
Literally most YouTubers clickbait. At least, I mean, like all clickbait's kind of depends because there's like different contexts to clickbait. You know what I'm saying? And there's like clickbait where you're just straight up lying about the video. Now that's fucked up. That's bullshit. But there's like clickbait where it's like insinuating something, but it's like a half truth clickbait. You know what I mean? But
Webster Dictionary, rage bait is defined as online content that is intentionally offensive or provocative. There's also a definition for vague post, which means to post cryptically on social media for engagement or intention. Now, if you don't know how algorithms work, let's say you're scrolling on Twitter, you're scrolling, and you hover over a post for a second longer than you did another post. The algorithm captures that engagement and starts recommending you more things that are similar. So that's why when you see something that may rage bait you, or a vague post that you're trying to understand the meaning of, and you click on it, you will get recommended things like that more often, and those people will get paid. Similar things like clip farming are defined as typically the practice of uploading or re-uploading a clip or photo that features something that's clickbait worthy or features an individual who's displaying exaggerated reactions or antics. Its main aim is to generate as many views or clicks from the streaming audience. And engagement bait, which technically all of these could classify as, is a type of social media post that is designed to get you to interact with seemingly innocuous content through likes, follows, shares, and comments. These posts are often created by accounts that have two specific goals in mind. First, build a large following for the account, then monetize that following. What connects all of these terms and definitions that we're going through is the goal of generating as much engagement, views, and eventually money as possible. The reason that these posts tend to do so well and take up so much space online isn't by accident either. It's all by design. And this phenomenon has been growing for a while, with a big pickup in steam coming from the COVID pandemic. Whereas JeffersonHealth.org puts it, the social lives of teens became mostly digital. A study in the Journal of the American Medical Association
that's so sad, bro. That's crazy. COVID really fucked shit up, bro.
showed that teens who use
It really
social media
did, bro.
over 3 hours per day may be at heightened risk for mental health problems. And this only got much worse after the pandemic. Since social media is designed to be addictive, the optimized algorithm found bait especially useful. A Stanford Medicine article pointed out how social media hijacks the dopamine system, and that today, the addictive substance of choice, whether we realize it or not, is often the internet and social media channels, which makes emotion-fueled bait all that much more powerful, especially as those who are posting it are compensated financially for boosting engagement. Dr. Anna Lemke, author of Dopamine Nation, finding
I think like there is harm to this kind of content. There is a lot of harm to it, but I think like it's one thing if you're just having fun and you know you just right, but if you're just doing it to get attention and views and to like capitalizes off of people's like attention span and shit like that. Like I mean, you do you, bro, but it's just like there's like a fine line. There's like a line with content. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like with these RL streamers and shit, like it's fine if they're being authentic and nice to people and they're pushing, good values and stuff. But when they do shit just to do shit to like make other people's lives harder and shit like that, bro, that's when it like crosses the line. You know what I
Balance in
mean?
the age of indulgence, explained the risk factors of
What
social
the
media
fuck?
addiction, saying, just as the hypodermic needle is the delivery mechanism for drugs like heroin, the smartphone is the modern-day hypodermic needle, delivering digital dopamine for a wired generation. And unlike drugs, the quantity is endless. TikTok will never run out. Except one of my friends, I think he's seen every single reel there is. What makes all of this much worse is when you combine everything we've talked about today. Social media is paired with AI-equipped algorithms that can precisely determine your likes and dislikes. But that's the thing. It's not often the likes nearly as much as it is the dislikes that get pushed. Because for some reason, negativity holds a much stronger grip on human engagement. These methods are used across every social media platform.
That's why rage baiting is such like it's so easy to rage bait people, bro.
But I think the place that it's gotten pretty bad on is Twitter. If you've opened up the app lately and scrolled and looked at a few tweets and then just closed it, you'll be shocked by how literally almost every tweet is a nothing burger, clearly and desperately trying to get you to click, like, or respond. For example, after scrolling on Twitter for just a few minutes, here are some of the
I try not to use Twitter at all, bro.
posts that popped up, all with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views, and often using one of the bait methods mentioned earlier or just using AI. And a large part of this could probably be the fact that once Elon Musk bought it and monetized tweets for people, things got much worse. Especially since the motivation to post now has financial incentives, it seems like timelines are becoming much more hostile by design. And of course, this isn't an issue specific to Twitter, as there are tons of similar issues on Instagram, TikTok, and more.
But here's the thing, though. It's not like at least people are aware of this kind of shit, though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, generally, most people my age don't really use TikTok and I'm sorry, not TikTok. Don't really use Twitter in like real life like that. You know what I mean? They try to avoid it as much as they can. You know what I mean? So like, from my experience, most people I know that are like my age don't really use. They try to stay off social media, not like try to stay off like. They try to avoid like stuff like Twitter, all the time.
The version of the internet that we use today has killed the soul or authenticity that platforms once had. Nothing seems to be natural anymore. Everything is engineered by the algorithm to be filled with negative or bait sort of content for engagement and profits. Passion has been replaced by strategy, and massive amounts of creators don't make things because they love it anymore. They make it because the algorithm rewards it. Overall, it seems like the internet uses ads to monetize your attention, AI to flood the platforms with endless content, and bait of all different kinds to hijack your emotions, hooking you for endless consumption. Basically, the internet doesn't really suck because people got that much worse. It sucks because every platform is optimized to take something from you, whether it be your money with TikTok.
It's just hyper capitalism. We're going through the rise. We're going through end stage capitalism, bro. Like that's just what it is, bro. It's literally end stage capitalism, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like the only way we'll get out of this is through a full reset. Like that's all it really be.
Shop,
you know what I mean?
Ads, your data, your outrage, and of course, most importantly, your time. At this point, it seems like the internet is a much worse place than it once used to be. But I think the easiest way to combat this is just keep in mind what your algorithm is becoming.
Well, that and just take breaks from the internet. Like just be aware of what you're watching could be hooking you to distract you. You know what I'm saying? Like just keep that in mind, bro.
And what you're letting yourself intake. Personally, my algorithm is all music stuff because that's what I'm interested in. A lot of it's positive, a lot of it is just things that I enjoy because I'm too smart to be fooled by the rage bait. I really just don't care. And I think you have to have a very active mind when you're using the internet. Don't just consume whatever gruel the algorithm shoves right in front of your face. With that being said, if you're interested,
Basically, have a fucking independent thought of your own, nigga. Think for yourself, prick. You know what I'm saying? I would say, like, you want to avoid this, just try not to be on the internet all the time. There's nothing wrong. Well, there's nothing wrong with being on the internet, but just try not to be like doom scrolling all night, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, be aware that like when you scroll on TikTok all day, you're you know, I wouldn't say like you're wasting time when you could be working on. It's not even like that or no dumbass shit like that. It's just like, like it makes you know sometimes like and this is my experience. It makes you think. You're not thinking in the present. You know, basically, you're just not thinking in the present. You know, moment when you get caught up in that and like that the doom scrolling shit, but. What do y'all think about this shit, man? Have an independent thought. Stay off the internet, bro. Take breaks, bro. I love y'all, man. I hope you have a good breakfast, a good dinner, good night, man. I love y'all, man. Peace.